Good morning. We're excited to be here and appreciate just the opportunity to represent West Point and introduce our players that are here with us today. We are so honored to be a part of this incredible conference. And on behalf of Mike Buddy, our athletics director, and Lieutenant General Steve Gillen, our superintendent, we're grateful and honored to be a member of the American Athletic Conference. We know it's going to be a tremendous challenge, but also a great opportunity for our institution, our program, and to represent the men and women that serve in the United States Army. And those are the uniforms we wear, the colors that we wear as we go out each Saturday and play the games and represent those men and women. So that gives us just a great sense of pride. We've got two of our players here with us, two of our captains, both from the state of Texas. So Max DiDomenico from Church, Texas, is a safety, going to be a senior, is with us. And Bryson Daly, our quarterback from Abernathy, Texas. His dad is a high school coach here in the state of Texas, and so those guys are here as well. I know they're pleased to be coming home. We've got a lot of players on our roster from the state of Texas, so it's nice to be down here and have the opportunity to travel down here to play many of the great teams that are in the American Athletic Conference from the state of Texas. So we're excited to be a part of it and anxious to get to the season, as all these coaches and players are, to get to preseason camp, which will start next week, and so we're looking forward to an exciting season ahead.
All right, we'll open it up for questions over here in the front row to the left.
Hey, Coach. Sean Girard from CBS Sports. Coach, what kind of opportunity and what kind of challenge is it to take Army into a conference?
So for most of our history, obviously, we've been an independent team. There was an 8-year stretch in Coach Sutton. I believe there were, I'm trying to remember the history of the coaches is prior to my coming to West Point. But Bobby Ross, I believe, was part of that stretch there in Conference USA, and I just don't know that it was a great match at the time for Army. It may very well have had to do with being in the league, and there might have been other factors, but it was not a successful venture for West Point. And I think because of that, there's been a lot of hesitation and a lot of doubt about joining the league. But just felt personally, and as I talked to Mike and General Gillen, that this was the right time for us to make this move. Scheduling has become a real challenge, and a lot of that is driven because of the changes in college football, the realignments of the major conferences, and as those teams are changing conferences, their schedules have to change, and there's a huge trickle-down effect. Whether it's those teams that are sending us a letter saying, we need to get out of this game because we're changing conferences, or other teams that say we've had a schedule change because of another opponent. We've got to cancel our game or change our game, and it just became very challenging to put a schedule together. And we were finding that inside of 12 months, we were having to find new opponents, and so that was one of the factors. The other is with the expanded playoff. I think it's important, if we're going to compete at this level, at the FBS level, that there's a pathway to the playoff. And I'm not delusional. It's hard to win a college football game at this level, any game, and it will be tremendously challenging for us to win a game in this league. But to not be able to say we've got a pathway, particularly in recruiting, I just felt like we needed to be in position to do that. So I'm excited that there is a pathway for a group of 5 team to be able to compete in the playoffs. I think it's a great first step. I hope that there will be other changes that will allow more conference champions from each conference. Each conference in in the country in college football that plays at this level. I'd love for them to have a seat at the table and be able to be in a playoff. But right now there's one spot, and so it's important for us to position ourselves to at least say we've got a pathway.
Next question will come from the far right.
Trey Smith, College Underdogs. Coach, rivalries are what make college football great. Already being a part of arguably the greatest rivalry in college football with Army-Navy. Now being in a conference with a team like UTSA and the military presence that's in San Antonio, I've always felt like if given a chance, that could evolve into a pretty cool, unique rivalry. What are your thoughts on that? And then how might that be able to impact your presence in recruiting in a state like Texas?
Well, I think that being a part of a conference, new rivalries are born. And I'm certain that whether it's UTSA or other teams in the league, that there will be some games where it'll be very competitive and just naturally there will be some rivalries that will grow from those games. So UTSA has been what a tremendous job Jeff has done there. An incredible run. Conference championships, conference championship games, bowl games, ranked in the top 25. They're an outstanding football team, and he's built a tremendous program there. Obviously, the military presence here in the state of Texas is there's a real connection for us at Army with the state of Texas. There are a lot of Army bases here and a lot of soldiers close by. As we sit here today, there's thousands of American soldiers that were within a few hours' drive of Dallas. So we're excited to be able to play down here, to be able to come down here and represent the men and women that serve, to be able to hopefully invite them to games and have them bring their families to cheer for Army and to feel a sense of connection to the team that represents them. It will be a challenge every time we play a game in this league, I know, and it is when we play UTSA. We've had some great football games against them, and I hope that we can continue to be competitive enough that we can make the next time that we play them, and Thanksgiving weekend this year at Mikey Stadium, I hope we can make it a competitive game. But they are very talented and extremely well coached, and it's going to be a challenge for us to just be in the game with them.
Next question will be right in front.
Coach Robbie Listella, BleacherBrothers.com. I know, understandably, it's your first year on the job, but is there kind of any sense for maybe you or the people around you that with NIL and everything, that the pool of players that are available to military academies has shrunk at all, or do you guys still find yourself still readily available to recruit from a large pool of players?
We have to cast a very large net, and I think one of the things about the academies is that really not much has changed with all of the rule changes in NIL and the transfer portal. The transfer portal has always been open to our players before their junior year. Once they attend classes at the start of their junior year, they've affirmed, which means they've pledged a commitment to complete their curriculum and graduate from the military academy and then serve 5 years in the Army. So that hasn't changed. Prior to the start of their junior year, they've always been able to transfer, and we've had guys that have done that. We've never been able to take guys out of the transfer portal. I should say that we can, but it's not as appealing to transfer to an academy because essentially they start over. If a young man or young lady wants to transfer to the United States Military Academy and they attend the University of Texas or the University of whatever state, any institution, they start over as a freshman. They come in, they go through cadet basic training. None of their credits transfer. They start over. So most people that consider transferring, they've got a reason that they're coming to West Point, and it's not necessarily driven by the transfer portal in athletics. It's not any more or any less challenging, in my opinion, to recruit to the academy right now because of the rule changes. It's always been a challenge and will always be a challenge because of the military commitment that comes with that. Fortunately, there are enough young men and women in this country that have a spirit to serve, and they may have never thought about going to West Point or one of the service academies, but when they have a conversation with a coach, they're open to it and they'll listen. And so there's enough to go around. I think what the transfer portal has done, and the fact that there are so many players that are taking the place of scholarship players who leave a school from another college. It's not as common for colleges to go out and replace their graduating players or their transferring players with high school players. So there are probably fewer high school players that are signing national letters of intent to attend Division I universities, and that may leave a few more guys out there for us to be able to pull into our net. With the conversations about roster limitations changing, currently 85 scholarships at the FBS level, that may increase. That may increase to over 100. So that's going to mean more guys on scholarship, which that may reach into the net that we cast and pull some of those guys that we may have been able to recruit. So it'll be interesting to see how that really affects recruiting at the academies and at Army. But as of right now, it's only sped up the process. It hasn't changed the guys that I think we probably have a chance to recruit, but it has kind of pressed the gas pedal. There's high school prospects making commitments a lot earlier than they had been 10 years ago.
Next question will be here to the far left.
Hey, Coach. Ken Kreitz for Cam Betts Media. Just to ask you about the two players you brought today, Bryson Daly, the quarterback, and Max DiDomenico, the safety. Outstanding seasons they had last year as you won the Commander-in-Chief Trophy. They're providing leadership. They're wearing the red sashes as leaders of the Corps Cadets today.
Two great guys and two tremendous leaders. They've both been a big part of our program for the tenure that they've been there. Not been starters since the day they arrived, but both have been leaders in their class, and we recognize the leadership abilities they had and the athletic abilities that they had. And like our team, they're not oh my gosh talented or particularly more gifted than other people were going to play. They're just two guys that play really hard. They're really tough. They care a lot about their team and their teammates, and they're great competitors. And that's what makes them tremendous leaders, and it's what I hope will give them the opportunity to make plays to help us hopefully win some games this year. Bryson Daly is a first-year starter. Last year as a junior, he had played about 15 snaps in his career going into last season, and just to see how he matured. We had obviously a really tough stretch in the middle of the season last year, and to just watch him lead our team and bring that confidence to the huddle in practice and in games as we finished out the season was really encouraging, and I'm excited that he's our quarterback, and hopefully we'll keep him healthy and he'll be able to play this entire season for us. I think we'll be a better team if we can do that. Max DiDomenico is a guy that has played a lot of football for us. Was one of the few guys that comes in as a true freshman, straight out of high school, was a direct admit to the academy and played as a freshman. Played a lot of special teams, played a lot of snaps at safety, and has been a on and off starter since his sophomore year, and was a starter all of last season. Really a voice on our defense and the leader of our defense. Like the guys that have come before him that played that position, very much wired the same way. Marquell Broughton and guys that have played that position. Ryan England, names you remember, guys you remember. That have been great leaders and productive players for us. So our team has a lot of confidence in him, and he brings a lot of confidence to our defense when he's out there on the field.
We'll do two more. First one in the front.
Coach A.D. Moore, Houston Roundball Review. Obviously, these guys that come to the academy have a commitment to serve their country, but you have some players that have an ability to blossom to go from a professional level on the playing professional football. How does that give you a little bit more leeway to bring some of these guys that want to still serve their country, but they still have the opportunity to, take that shot at the professional level? And how does it help you?
I'm sorry. Finish your question.
And how does that maybe affect y'all, help y'all in any way?
I've been really proud of the guys that we've had on our team that have had a chance to play in the NFL, and we've got several that are on rosters right now, and I hope they'll make their teams again this fall and be able to play in the league again this fall. It's a great opportunity to be able to have a path to pursue both of those goals by coming to West Point. And I'll say most of our players that we recruit, they didn't dream of going into the military. Most of them never considered going to West Point. Some of them had never heard of West Point. But they're introduced to West Point by a coach, and as I had mentioned earlier in the question earlier in the press conference, that they'll listen, and they've got this sense within them that they have the spirit to serve, and that may not mean serving in the military, but to serve other people. And so people with those traits and that value, I think, are open to considering the academies. And when a young man and his parents have a chance to really explore the opportunities that West Point has, the education, the leadership training, and that's something that every day in every classroom, in every meeting that we have, in all of the military training that they do, leadership is at the core of what we're trying to teach. And so that's a unique and special opportunity for them, and then to serve their country and to have the responsibility as second lieutenants, as young officers, as young professionals, to lead other people, to lead men and women, to motivate, inspire, train other people to be their best as a team. And so that's what leadership is all about. So to have that opportunity is really special. But to have a path to play in the NFL and to pursue football beyond college is a dream of every one of our guys. And I would love for every one of our players to have a chance to play in the NFL. But the guys that we have playing on teams right now, they were all developed. None of those guys were five-star prospects. Brett Toth has played several years as an offensive lineman in the NFL. He came to us, he was 6'6", 220 pounds, a homeschooled tight end from Charleston, South Carolina, and he played as a senior for us at 305 and has played for the Eagles at 327. So, he's gained over 100 pounds since he was a freshman in college, and he developed into a player. Most of the guys that have an opportunity to go on and pursue football beyond their careers at West Point, they're going to develop, and it's a great personal commitment that they make, and a great job by our coaching staff, our strength team, to prepare them and give them that opportunity. And so I hope that there will continue to be a path and an opportunity for not just our football players, but all of our athletes at West Point to be able to pursue sports beyond college. And I think it's a platform for our Army, for our armed services, to be able to say, look, here's an Army officer, here's a military officer that's playing sports at the very highest level in the world, and they're representing the other men and women that they serve alongside. And for them to leave that arena in the NFL and to be able to go into the United States Army then as an officer after they finish their career in the NFL, and and the credibility that they'll have as a competitor, I think will only enhance their abilities and opportunities to lead in that arena and be a leader of soldiers.
All right, that's all the time we have, Coach. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.